friends, Tiffany Dawn here, and welcome back to Tuesday Girl Talk. And today we're gonna talk about dating and why I actually kissed dating hello. But first I just have to tell you that tomorrow we have our 1,000 subscriber giveaway, so you should definitely come back and enter the giveaway and see if you could be a winner. So I want to share with you some thoughts about dating today. So I actually tried courting for my first relationship. We started talking about marriage like before our first date. Like we were so marriage focused from the beginning, and I was 17 at the time, and it wasn't good for us and it wasn't good for our relationship. It ended up getting way too serious, way too fast, and then it felt like I just couldn't get out of the relationship because I was like in so deep emotionally, like there was so much invested in it that when I found out the relationship wasn't good and it wasn't healthy, it made it so hard to get out. There's this verse in Song of Solomon that says, "Don't awaken love until it's time." And I think sometimes when we rush into getting really serious in relationships, that can be like a form of awakening love before it's time. A few years after that first relationship, which ended up being very, very damaging for me, a few years after that, I was about to get into my second like real relationship. And I remember my pastor and his wife sitting me down one day when I was thinking about going on some dates with this guy from our church. They were like, "Tiffany, if you were my daughter, here's what I would say to you. We would tell you to just take it slow. Like you're so future focused. Don't worry about if you're gonna marry him. Don't even think about if you're gonna marry him. Just get to know him. Go on dates with him. Don't get physical, but don't talk about marriage either. Just get to know each other and enjoy your time together." They were like, "He's a trustworthy guy. He loves Jesus. Like this is a safe place, safe situation for you to just get to know each other." And I loved that advice. So we did it. We didn't talk about marriage. I'd often find myself starting to think about it and have to like pull my thoughts back, but I just was able to get to know him for who he was and enjoy our time together. I learned so much about myself and like the things that I really loved in a relationship and the things that I didn't like in a relationship. And it was so healing too because he would just speak life into me all the time, just encouraging me. And there was no pressure. It was just letting it become what it would naturally become. So then a few months down the road, we met with my pastor and his wife again. I mean, we'd been meeting with them like every month because I was like so nervous about this. So they're awesome. But we met with them a few months down the road and they were like, "Okay, now's a good time to reevaluate, to start thinking, not are we gonna get married, but is this heading toward marriage or not?" Because you don't want to be stuck in a relationship for like 10 years that's going nowhere, but it's just comfortable and you don't feel like breaking it off, so you're just stuck in it. And so we ended up talking about it and praying about it. I just realized like, you know, there's a lot of things that I've been able to see now that we aren't compatible in, like where we want our lives to go in the future, like how we want to spend money, the things we want out of life, like they're very different. And honestly, I felt like I just had never fallen in love with him. So we ended up breaking it off, but it was so like beautiful to me. Like looking back on it, I don't have regrets. I felt like I came out of that relationship more confident, knowing who God said I was and feeling more beautiful than I ever had in my life. So after that, I started looking at dating a little differently. I started wanting to just like get to know guys, not hooking up with them, not like that kind of casual dating, but just kind of just being like, we're intrigued by each other, we're interested, we want to get to know each other more, so we'll go out on some dates and just like see where it leads. And a lot of the time it didn't end up leading anywhere, but I have some great memories from those times. And I learned so much about myself and so much about like what things I loved in a guy and what things were like, I don't really want that in my life. I'm a huge fan of going on dates with different guys, just casual dates, like not somebody you're thinking, could I marry him, but just somebody who you're intrigued by and you want to spend more time getting to know. And there's no pressure and you're not getting physical either. You're just going on a date. Get to know each other and go out to dinner sometimes and get ice cream or coffee and hang out with friends and just like see what happens and let it happen naturally. I used to think that I should only date guys that I thought I might marry, but if I had kept doing that, I would have never gone on a date with my husband. Like growing up, I always thought like, I will know when I've met the guy I'm gonna marry. And I did know 3 different times for 3 different guys, and none of them were James. When James and I reconnected, there was no chemistry. And then eventually when there was chemistry, I didn't know that I wanted to marry him. I just knew I was intrigued by him. When he asked me to be his girlfriend, I remember thinking, I have no clue if I'll marry this guy. I don't know where this is going, but I'm intrigued enough by him that yeah, I wanna like get to know him more. Shortly after, you know, within a few weeks, honestly, I started to feel so confident, like this is the guy I want to marry. But I knew that because I'd gone on dates with all different guys and I'd been in friendships with all different guys. It was like, this is different than any other guy or girl that we've dated before. There's like this connection, this communication, like this is special. That reminds me of one other thing I wanted to say is I think sometimes it's easy when you've been really good friends with a guy for a long time to then think, maybe we should get married and just start talking about marriage right away. But it's so important to still take the time to get to know each other in a dating way for at least a little bit, because there's so much stuff that comes up in dating relationships that doesn't come up in friendships. I've seen this happen in my life and with friends. And there's stuff that comes up, things you have to work through, issues you never realized were there that come up when you're dating that don't usually come up in friendship, even if you're like best friends with a guy. So just keep that in mind. I guess the big thing I want you to take away from this video is just this. Be careful with your heart. Don't just give it away too fast. Don't make this emotional commitment and emotional intimacy that's too deep before you're ready for it and before your relationship is ready for it. Give it time. Time is your friend. Get to know the person you're dating. Don't even think about marriage for the first couple months. Just think about, is this somebody I trust? Does he love God? Do I want to hang out with him? Get to know him more. And if you do, then do that and enjoy doing that. It's okay to go on dates, and it's okay if you go on dates and it doesn't work out. And if I hadn't done that with my husband, I wouldn't be married right now to the most amazing man on the planet. And if you want to talk about this a little more, I've got 2 awesome resources linked below. I think you should definitely check them out. So I would just encourage you to think about these things, pray about them, talk with adults that you trust, and comment your thoughts down below. What do you think about this idea of kissing dating hello? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Have you ever thought about it before? I want to hear what you're thinking. Thank you for being here with me today, and don't forget to come back tomorrow for our giveaway, because it's gonna be lit. Bye, girls.